Good morning, Rabbi Isai. It's so good to be back. So good. It's 7:18 here in Eretz Yisrael. 3 minutes, and we got everything up and running. Everything's gewaldic. I told the Olam, B'li Neder, I'm never saying a bad word about Gary Ben Moshe, Gershom Ben Moshe. Never. Can't. So it was very torturous for me to be away, I have to say. Every day was a struggle. Every single day, whether it was the technical stuff and just the locations and just everything. It's very, very good to be back. So thank you for the welcomes. We'll start with this one. Reb Zechariah Waallerstein, Zecher Tzadik Levracha, a tremendous, devastating blow to Klal Yisrael. Here he is at our Siyum on Masechtas Pesachim in New York. If you look behind him, there's the picture of Rameir Shapiro that Yossi Klein decided on his own. So they bought me this as a gift, and he shipped it to Eretz Yisrael. It cost him $700 to ship that. It's on my porch now. I don't know why. It made it to the porch, and it's there. But Reb Zechariah, we asked him to speak, and he spoke at the Siyum, and he did a tremendous job as usual, and he refused to take compensation. It's a tremendous loss for Klal Yisrael. The girls' school that he has, and all the shiurim that he gave, and the chizuk that he gave people, unreal. Over here it says, today after hearing the sad news about Reb Zechariah Waallerstein, a family member posted a video of him saying, how you woke up today, that means you have a mission and you can benefit your own neshama instead of waiting for people to do it for you after 120. Being a Talmud, I immediately posted that is what you said in the shiur today. In New York, let's just chazer, in case this is your first time back. So we had a shiur. You hear, Mendy? You're probably not aware of this. Oh, you are aware. Anyways, we had a shiur in New York. And I don't know how many people showed up. At least 700, maybe more. 770, right? According to Doppel, to 770. The kids, there's a lot of people. And I said over there in middle shiur, I was like, ha'ara, that just like Yibum is a missed opportunity, unfortunately, for the guy that dies. He dies without children, so the Yibum steps in and has a child, so to speak, for him. But it's not the same. Obviously, it's much better if you have your own child. You don't. So too, when it comes to Torah, why wait for somebody to do it for you? At the Shiva house, they're going to give out Mishnayos and all that stuff, Lili Nishmas, but isn't it better if you yourself jump in and do it yourself? So he says, this is what Reb Zechariah said. And then it says, the very next post was my nephew, and you could show the picture, Gershon, my nephew in Turkey airport spotting the Rosh Yeshiva. Now I'm a Rosh Yeshiva. Went from Rav to Rosh Yeshiva, yeah. What are we looking? This is better? Okay. How you doing? Thank you. The 1 minute guy. How about now?
We were running on time.
Yeah, Shalom Aleichem. Guess. What's your name? From?
Yeah.
Over here. Wow, Shalom Aleichem. Oh, hold on. Let me. Okay, so there's no picture. No better than New York. I'm not going to say a word to Gary, though.
All right, I'll add it.
Yeah? Hold on. Here. How about now?
No, I see your computer, but not your picture.
What does that mean? You see that? You don't see? Oh, you got to do display. Display and start. Make sure not multiple.
Go home screen.
Oh, yeah.
Home screen. Home. Desktop.
Oh. What happened? Okay. So, this is the picture of the Rosh Yeshiva on the way back home to his Talmidim. So he put it on his family chat that I was mechaven to Zechurya, and then somebody else saw from his mishpacha saw me in Turkey and put it up there. Very nice. Yishkoyach. Rabbi said we have a business proposition for MDY. Hi, Rebelli. Thanks for all your hard work and putting together such a great share. I was wondering if you would like to partner with me in a new business venture. It's a new funeral service called RuvenGoesByeBye.com. We'll offer a 10% discount if the nifter was bald. Ahron Fraiman, West Hempstead. Shkoyach. Hi, Rebelli. My name is Menashe Davidowitz from Muncie, New York. I've been listening to your share for the past few months. Really enjoying your share. I have a hard time learning in general, and your share keeps me going. I can keep up. I understand with your explanation and demonstration. Really enjoy it. I have a big WhatsApp platform, and I brought over 55 people to start your share from there. And they all gave me amazing feedback on how you really and they're really enjoying. I was on the way to the share in Brooklyn on April 28th with another guy that does a dive with us every day, and I got pulled over with a suspended license and got arrested. Small video attached. Feel free to share. So I wasn't able to make it. I was so disappointed and really looking forward to meeting you. Embrace Hashem. We'll meet you another time. Thank you for all you do. Shiur, encouragement, give Klal Yisrael. Best regards, Menashe Davidowitz, aka known as 9 Block. 9 Block is arrested. Here we go. But he has a Rolex.
Excuses.
Listen, I just remembered a story. We were in South Africa, and we got to a border. There was a van full of from people, and I don't know if I ever told. Did I tell you this myself? So we get to the border, and they said, "Who wants to volunteer to be one of the people from here to bring the passports?" So I said, "Okay, I'll do it." So they give me the passports and everything, and we go in. Me and this native South African that was on the trip, we go in, and I tell the cop, I said, "Listen," I said, "I need to speak to the head guy here." He says, "Yeah." I said, "Listen, here's a little Cooper, a little money. You need to arrest me. You arrest me, and we got to tell the bus that I'm arrested." So the marriage like this, I'm arrested, and then the guy goes back and says, "You're not going to believe it. They arrested Eli." The whole bus comes, and they like, "How much do you need? How much? 4,000, 5,000, start taking." Okay, anyway. And then I thought, no, just joking. The rest of the trip, half the people weren't talking to me. Okay. So I don't know about this. The name, I've been there. Same thing. Yeah, okay. Rabbi Yisai, Reb Zalman Twersky, big Talmud Chacham. He's the principal in the Lebovic school in Chicago. Made a vart last night with the Reb Yisrael Goldstein. So first of all, I want to give a tremendous yishkoch to Reb Zalman. He came every single day. It was a big chizuk to me. So Mazel Tov. Yisrael Goldstein, he took all the pictures at that big event, even though it meant that he had to miss one of his chasanas because he's a photographer. He said, "I'm missing the chasana. Get somebody else instead." It's very hard for him to find the replacement because it's like the busiest season of the year. He came. He said, "For mishpacha, he can't miss mishpacha," and he came. And not only he didn't make any money, he just took pictures for us, and so a great yishkoich to him. The monthly sponsor for the koil is Lzchus Shiduchim for Mr. Anonymous. Ahron Fraiman Lzchus continue to parnasah the dishmaya and Hatzlacha to rebellion. If everybody wants to read with me, go ahead, try. The Boyer family Nishmas. I can't read it. Rabbi Avraham ben Rebelio, Zechus Eli Weinberg A. Dear family and friend who suddenly passed away this Shabbos at the age of 59. Again, there's another guy that was at that shiur in Brooklyn, and his final picture, his last picture, was with me at that event, and he was nifter at age 59. Parnasah Chodesh, the Wolkenstein family, the main Kemach ein Torah, the main Torah and Kemach, Parnasah Chodesh by the Lock and Lebovic families, Lakewood New Jersey, because Torah is the best segulah. Parnasah Chodesh, as Zechus, the Hatzlacha to you, the magid shiur, and a video edited that Hatzlacha continuation, not missing a shiur. L'zech nishmas Rav Yitzchak ben Binyamin, Parnasah Chodesh, anonymously, Lina nishmas Chai bas Yosef, and anonymously as HaKaras HaTov to Hashem and as Zechus for continued health and bracha. And a new parnasah chodesh, Harav Zechariah Shimon HaKohen Wowlerstein Zechet Levracha by his kids. His kids watch the shiur? Wow, unbelievable. During Shiva, they sent in a thing. Unbelievable. Okay. His neshama should have an avliya. Again, tremendous loss to Klal Yisrael. The Levaya is today here in Bet Shemesh at 1 o'clock. Okay, Rabbi Yisai, we're holding today's Daf Nun Zayin. If you look at Amud Beis, it's kind of short. Therefore, we could just go back and start from the Mishnah. We won't do the whole Mishnah, but just we're holding by the Gemara anyway. Nun Vav Amud Beis. It says in the Mishnah, Almana l'koyin gadol, grusha v'chalus l'koyin heder min ha'erisin loy yoichlu b'truma. So, typically speaking, erisin, we call it engaged, but it's not the real term. But erisin, it's like today what we call kiddushin. Gives her a ring, and then he goes away for a bit until there's nesuin, chup and nesuin. So the erisin actually causes you to eat truma. However, if this is an erusin that's going to end up in a very bad situation because he happens to be a kohen gadol and he's trying to marry an almana, or he happens to be a regular kohen, he's trying to marry a grusha, which is awesome in the eraisa, so that's going to create a chalala, which is going to be also for her to eat truma. So today, could she eat truma? So we have a machlokes in the Mishnah. Rebbe Lezer, Rebbe Shimon Machshirim, they say it's okay because at the end of the day, right now, he's kohen her kinyan kaspai. He acquires her, so to speak, and therefore she could eat truma. They didn't do it nisr yet. They're waiting to do a nisr. So this is what we call mishtameres lebia psula. She's waiting. She's in the wings to have Isser Dikabiyah, because she's a Grusha L'Koyin. And so we have a machlokes. Says the Gemara, Tanya Omer Rabbi Meir. So it seems like the Tanakama is Rabbi Meir, right? It's the Mishnah Rabbi Meir. Tanya Omer Rabbi Meir. Kal v'chomer. He says an incredible thing. It's very difficult to understand what he's saying. Uma Kiddushi Rishus Ein Machilin Kiddushi Aver Likolchkein. According to Rashi's second pshat, what she likes more, it's just, and the Rishonim completely don't understand. Neither do I really, but Rashi says this is the pshat. If a Yisrael marries a Yisraelis, just Kiddushin, Rishus Ein Machilim, even if he marries her, she can't eat Truma. Why? Why can't she eat Truma? Because he's a Yisrael. So certainly, Kiddushi Aveira, that you have a Kayin who's marrying and trying to do a Nisr here, certainly, Shalom Aleichem, everybody. They're wrong. Shkoyach for the four-legged anacle. Is it right?
Doing great.
He's coming back today?
Much better.
Shem Yerachem. My vacation is over. Oh my gosh. I was so happy to be here for a few minutes until I saw you. Remember my four-legged anacle. Okay, so, by the way, how many people, there's like a daily audience here, no? Like 20 people or so?
No, more.
More?
No, there were about 20. No.
It's machlokes. According to Nisan Gaz, 850. According to you, there's 20. What? No. How many? 20? About 20.
It was actually a shiur here.
You mean once somebody stood up and gave a real shiur, Dailam ran away, but usually there's 30. I hear. Okay, great. Wow, I feel good. The kids said there's more people here in the TV screen than there were in Chicago. I hate to knock Chicago again, but Lamai said they did well. The last day, there's 27 people, everything was good. Does anybody understand this? This Kavachomer? A Kohen who's getting married, Be'isr, certainly he shouldn't give his wife Truma. I mean, he's in the Parsha. A Yisrael for sure not. And that's what the Gemara is going to discuss. It's not great. Even if they get married, there's no way in the world that Yisrael could give his wife Truma. This Kohen Gadol, if he marries another woman, he could give her Truma. So maybe it's different. Rabbi Isai, underline this word right over here. We have to remember this. This is Rabbi Shaya. The Gemara is going to say later on, well, Rabbi Shaya himself had a suffix or something. What? I didn't say Shayla, I said Rabbi Oishaya. It's close. Okay. Tonight? So that's tomorrow. Also, you'll see the Olam because a bunch of guys are going there and they're coming to me for Shabbos. Shomran v'chaver. Okay, let's learn some Torah. Petzua daka kohen shekidish bas Yisrael. So if you look over here, there's a pasuk that says lo yavoi petzua daka. That's a person who cannot have children. He has crushed beitim, ukrush shavcha. Another thing, bekal Hashem. I underline bekal Hashem because he cannot marry somebody from the kahal, but he could marry somebody that's not in the kahal. So typically, it's unbelievable. And we discussed this a few times. A person is married to a woman and he's in a car accident, chas v'shalom, and this terrible thing happens to him. He can't be married to his wife. Lo yavai b'kal Hashem. So, what's the halacha if this petzua daka kohen shekidish bas Yisrael? Do we have the same halacha like we had in the Mishnah of a kohen marrying a grusha? Mazeh? Oh yeah. So we'll say the shiur is also sponsored Lili Nishmas Miran Nakash's friend Yehuda ben Rachel, who's nifter. Okay, and the whole shiur in New York was the refuah shlema for that person. So okay, so same shaila. You have a guy who cannot get married and he's engaged. And so this woman is, again, she's in the wings to be married, to have bia psula. But the same man the Amrim in the Mishnah in this as well. According to Rameir, when you're standing there, you're about to have bia psula midai raisa. It's a dai raisa iser loyachla. She can eat truma hanami loyachla. This woman who's about to have bia psula with a psula daka, she can't eat truma. But according to those two, Rabbi Elazar and Shimon, she could eat, because right now, what she's about to do, we don't care about. But right now, at this point, she's engaged, and the Erusin gives her the right to eat truma. The fact that she's about to have bia psula, that's not our problem. Hanami achla. Says the Gemara, Mimai. Who told Rabbi Shaya that this is the same halacha as our Mishnah? Dilmat kan loy kam Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Shimon in our Mishnah. The kohen who's marrying or engaged to a divorcee, he could give truma to his other wife, to another woman. If he's engaged to another woman, the kohen gadol can marry a psula and give her truma. He's in the parsha. Avalacha, but a petzua daka. There's no one in the world that he could give truma to, even though he's a kohen. Says the Gemara, wait a minute. You just said, you made a statement that a petzua daka can never give anybody truma. He is in the parsha. I'll tell you why. Because what happens if he gets married to a bas gerim, a daughter of a ger? So the halacha is, at the end of the day, that kahal gerim lo yikri kahal. So memela, we're under the understanding that she's not in the kahal. So this pasuk lo yav p'tzua daka krushavcha b'kahal Hashem doesn't apply to him. Why? Because he's not marrying in kahal Hashem. He's marrying a ger. I heard of I have to verify before I say the name, a very, very famous person here in Eretz Yisrael is married to Giyaris because he's not alive anymore. Because I believe he's a krushavcha. So you gotta, I'll look into it, Be'ez Hashem, and find out more details. Because we're going to get, it's a bigger sugi later on. So, he could marry Bas Gerim, and since he's a Kohen, he'll give Truma to this Giyaris. Says the Gemara, but who, again, remember I told you to underline it. Who's asking this question? Who said this halacha? Rabbi Shaya. In a second, we're going to see later on today that Rabbi Yochanan asked Rabbi Yishaya this exact question: could a krushavcha give truma to a giyaris? And he didn't know the answer. Says the Gemara, Itmar. Says Abai, I'll tell you why. Because what happens in this very, very unfortunate situation where a guy's in a car accident and he becomes a krushavcha after he's married for 20 years to his wife. For 20 years, he feeds her truma. He's a kohen, he feeds her truma, everything's great. And then he turns into a krushavcha, and he gets the terrible news. Not only are you krushavcha, not only do you just wake up from a coma after two months in the hospital, but you have to divorce the wife that you were with for 20 years. So he says, okay, but not today. We'll do it in a week from now, a month from now. No relations, we're going to stay away from each other, but not now. Says Abaya, she could eat truma. They're not over any Yisurim. There's no relationship. He's just not divorced. So she's still married to a kohen. So in that position of being married to a kohen, she still eats truma. Rava Omar, says Rava, this is different because this krushavcha, he could still allow his slaves to eat truma. So Abaye lo yomar kirava, isn't Rava saying a good vart? You don't have to talk about a very specific case of a guy, krushavcha, who decided not to get divorced. Talking about a tzaddik. He married a giyaris, but at the end of the day, he's giving truma not to the giyaris because that Rabbi Shai didn't know what the halacha is. But one thing he knows, that he could give truma to Eved and Shivchas. Therefore, he is in the parasha. So it's very similar to our Mishnah. What are you asking me? You're asking me what's the connection between a krushavcha getting engaged and our Mishnah of a kohen getting engaged to a divorcee. A kohen getting engaged to a divorcee is in the parsha of truma. He can give anybody who wants truma any other wife in the world besides divorcees. A krushavcha can't give anybody truma. No, the answer is he could. He can't give a giyaris. He's allowed to marry giyaris. We don't know if he could. We don't know. Yes, no, Rabbi Shaya. You're right. We're not going to go base it on that, but we're going to base it on something else. A krushavcha who was married legally and he just turned krushavcha today, he continues giving his wife for a few weeks or however long until he divorces her. Or a krushavcha who was krushavcha from the day he was born could give truma to a slave. So he is in the parsha of truma. And Memele, we have the machlokes, Remeir and Elazar and Shimon. Says the Gemara, Abaye lo yamakarova ki in the ishus makin the ishus yalfinin. You know why Abaye says the case where he doesn't divorce his wife? Because he wants to say something that's similar to, we're talking about ishus now. We're talking about marriage. I don't want to learn it like Rava from a slave. Says Rava, don't bring me a raya from a wife that you're married to 20 years. Because she was eating truma the whole time legally. Now, in order to knock her off the bandwagon, you have to get divorced. So it's not a raya that a krushavcha has the ability to give somebody truma. He doesn't have the ability. The reason why she's eating truma is because she always ate truma for 20 years. What's stopping her? Because he was in a car accident, that's why she has to stop eating truma. What's stopping her is when they get divorced or when he dies. Okay, they didn't get divorced yet. Now we had the svara the other day, which I don't understand about. I have to tell you, I'm on Rava's side, but again, who am I? I don't understand him so well. He brings a raya, Bas Yisrael shenisas l'kohen umis. Bas Yisrael who gets married to a kohen and she doesn't have children and the husband dies. So the halacha is she doesn't eat truma anymore. But according to you, Rava, teichel shekvar ochla. Okay. When he dies, according to you, she should continue eating. Once you start eating, continue eating forever. Obviously, you can't do that. So what's the difference over here? That he turned into krushavcha, she should also, of course, says Abaya, she should stop eating truma because of his krushavcha. V'Rava, and Rava says, a bomb answer, Hasam poka kinyane, hachalei poka kinyane. When the husband dies, then her heter to eat truma dissipates, goes bye-bye, in a different way. But over here, he's still alive. So what stopped her from eating truma? Only a get. There's no get. Gufa. Now, this is the question that we said before. Rabbi Shai didn't have an answer to. After they got married and everything is good. But to Adaka Kohen Shenosa Bas Gerim, he married her. He was boiler. Maushi Achilena Betruma. She's a Giyaris, and he's a P'tsu Adaka. And we know P'tsu Adaka can't marry a Yisraelis, Loyav Kal Hashem. But could he marry a Giyaris and give her Truma? Ishtik v'loyam aloi v'limidi. Rabbi Shai didn't answer him. Says the Gemara, but right then and there, another gadol came in, asked him a question, and he did give him an answer. Uman Rish Lakish. This is the famous Rabbi Yochanan Rish Lakish. So the two of them are there. Rabbi Yochanan asked him this question about a P'sua Daka getting married to a Giyaris, and he didn't answer him. And Rish Lakish asked him another question, and he answered him. Omalei Rabbi Yehuda Nasiya, Rabbi Shai. Who's Rabbi Yehuda Nasiya? Rabbi Yehuda Nasi's grandson. Other Rabbi Yochanan Lav Gav Rabu. Why didn't you answer Rabbi Yochanan? Omalei the Kaboy Minoi Milsa de Leslie Pasre. He asked me something that there's no answer to. Says Rashi, She'ein Yidei Lefarsha, and the Bach sticks in She'ein Ani Yidei Lefarsha. So according to the Bach, Rashi is saying, I don't know how to answer this, but others could answer it. Okay. Says the Gemara Laman. So just as a small akdama to this Gemara, there are two problems here in the Gemara. We have the P'tsua Daka himself. Could he marry? Could he feed? And we have the woman getting married to him. There's a problem on him and there's a problem on her. There's two problems. The guy, the man and the woman, they both have an issue. Says the Gemara, Leman. Who's the problem according to? If P'sua Daka marries a Giyaris, we have a problem. Well, who's the problem? Eli Rabbi Yehuda, bein b'kedushasei koy, bein la b'kedushasei koy lo yachla. No matter what, this woman can't eat. I'm a manavshach. Beautiful manavshach. If a P'sua Daka remains a kohen for every halacha, he's a kohen. He remains in his kedusha of a kohen. La yachla. He's a kohen, and therefore he has a problem being married to her. Yeah? Manavshach. Either, this is what the Gemara is going to say, very, very simple. If he's a full-fledged kohen, then he can't be married to Giyaris. What is he doing? And if he's not a kohen, then she can't be married to him. So in Manavshach, we have a problem. She can't eat truma. So that can't be Rabbi Shai's problem. Okay. Inside, Rabbi Yehuda himself says, we're asking in Rabbi Yehuda, in Rabbi Yosi. Rabbi Yehuda says, no matter what she doesn't eat. Rabbi Yosi says, no matter what she does eat. And the Gemara is going to say, it's a third man, Domer. Rabbi Yaakov. Rabbi Yehuda himself says, Bas ger zochar ke bas cholol zochar. She has a halacha like a cholol. She's a giyaris. So he's not allowed to marry her. If he's a kadosh, if he's a pure kohen, he can't marry her. And if he can't marry her, he can't give her truma to eat. What are you going to say? You know what? He's a nevach. He's a krushavcha. He's not a real kohen. And therefore what? He could marry her. He could marry a psula, right? But she still can't eat. He can marry a psula, but he can't marry her because she's a kahal. We're going according to the Mandal he says, he himself, Rabbi Yehuda says, that a ger is considered kahal. And what does the pasuk say? But kahal Hashem. So either way, any way you look at it, according to Rabbi Yehuda, it's not even a shaila. No way could she eat truma. So when Rabbi Yochanan came to ask him, hey, P'sua Daka that's married to Giyaris, could she eat truma? The answer is, according to Rabbi Yehuda, no. Now, if we look at Rabbi Yosi, whether he's a full-fledged kohen or not a full-fledged kohen, achla, she could eat. Why? If he's a full-fledged kohen, the Amar, Avger Shanas Geris Bidek Sher Lekuhuna. Because a Giyaris, a ger, In other words, if you look over here, if a ger married a giyores, both of them are mutar l'kuna. Let me see if I have this here. Yeah. Here's the thing, Stam, if you wanna, when is a giyores mutar to a kohen? According to Rabbi Yehuda, we have a three-way machlokes here. According to Rabbi Yehuda, the mother has to be Israelis. According to Rabbi Lezer, Ben Yaakov, either or. Even if the father is Yisrael, also a giyores is mutar to kohen. And according to Rabbi Yossi, you need that both of them should be, even, not both, you don't need, even if both of them are gerim, two gerim get married, their kid is mutar l'kuna. So look at this. The Omar, Rabbi Yossi says, Af ger shenos giyores bidik sher l'kuna.
Why should call the Geras though? Both the parents are Jewish.
No, both of them are ger. Because what is she?
Bas.
Yeah, that's what she is. Yeah, Bas ger. Av ger shenos giyores bidik sher l'kuna. Ila b'kedushas koi achla. And if she's not kaddish, if he's not kaddish, he's not a full-fledged kohen. She also eats. Why? The Omar kal gerim lo yikri kahal. So if he doesn't have kedusha and she's not from the kahal, great. That's what it says in the pasuk. A krushavcha could only not marry somebody in the kahal, but he holds that gerim are not in the kahal. So he could marry her. So in Manashach, any way you look at it, according to Rabbi Yossi, you could eat. So when Rabbi Yochanan came to ask Rabbi Shai the question, could a giyores marry to psuadaka? Could she eat truma? The answer is, according to Rabbi Yossi, yes. And according to Rabbi Yehuda, not. So then what was the question? Eli the Haitano, the Snan Rabbi Lezbi Yaakov Oimer. We said the other day, Rabbi Lezbi Yaakov, Mishnasi Kavenaki, Kav is Gematria 102. 102 times in Shas, that Allah is like him. Isha, right? It was the rush in, I don't remember, Erev or something. Isha bas gerim, loisi nasa lekuna, achte ima mi Yisrael. So, Rabbi Yaakov says, anyone, achte ima mi Yisrael. Now, if Isha bas gerim loisi nasa lekuhuna, achte ima mi Yisrael. So he says, v'achikam in Bayerle. Kashrus mitaisiva, when the mother, when you add a mother to it, does she become more kosher likuhuna? But she doesn't become more kosher likahal. She becomes kosher likuhuna. Hold on. Maybe she becomes mutar likahal. If she becomes mutar likahal, then she becomes asur to psuadaka. Because if she has a mother that is Jewish, then she becomes so kosher that she's kosher. She becomes part of the kahal. Part of the kahal is no good for psuadaka. Says Gemara Toshma, and that was his suffix. So he had a suffix. But our question, psuadaka. Who's a kohen? Who married a giyores, the daughter of Gerim, shemachila b'truma? How do you know that they? Shenemar v'kohen kikne nefesh kinyan kasboy. Hu yachaboy. Now he brings a pasuk to say that she could eat. Says the Gemara, exactly what we just said up until this point. No chiddush here. That what? If we just repeat Baal Peh, we said according to Rabbi Yehuda, she for sure doesn't eat. So I don't need a pasuk. She for sure doesn't eat. According to Rabbi Yossi, she for sure does eat. So I don't need a pasuk. So what do you bring me a pasuk? So it's against this pasuk. You don't even need a pasuk. You see from here that she doesn't become kosher l'kahal. You see from here that she becomes kosher l'kuhuna. And that's the raya shmamina. Itmar. Rav Omar. New sugya, brand new sugya. Rabbi Yosef is spacing out. Brand new sugya. Sponsored by Moshe Horn in honor of the Gold Star Moti Donut. Sponsored anonymously as a Zechus from Moshe Yaakov, Ben Shashan, and both Ruchnis and Gashmis. Listen to this. This is incredible. Yesh chuppah lepsulais. So if you look at Rashi, you can do Rashi now inside. Kohen gadol shehichnis almana bas kohen lechuppah. So now we're not talking about like in the Mishnah. Rashi said in the pshat over there, we're talking about that he married Yisraelis. No, we're talking about a kohen gadol who married an almana, or a regular kohen who marries a grusha. But listen to this. He brings her into the chuppah. V'lei ba'aleh. There's no bia. And not only that, and there's not even erusin. He did a very funny thing here. He skipped erusin, didn't finish anything. He went straight to chuppah and only chuppah. Now, afilu hach, says Rashi, pasla mitruma de beinasha, the chuppah kiknisas bi'ila damya. He says a different lashon later. He says it's kroiva lebia. It's the closest thing. It's the step right before. So Amela. Even Rebbe Eliezer and Shimon in the Mishnah that say that erusin, if you get engaged, you do erusin. I don't like the word engaged. If you do erusin, this lady, this grusha who's getting engaged, erusin to a kohen could eat truma, not by chuppah. Chuppah ruins it all. Yesh chuppah lepsulais, it ruins it. Ushmuel amar ein chuppah lepsulais. According to Shmuel, no, you just did chuppah. You didn't ruin the truma. So listen to this. She's a bas kohen. She eats truma all day long. She's already 18 years old. She's been eating truma since she's a baby. Her formula was truma. Everything was truma. 18 years straight. She goes to, and she's a divorcee. She goes to another kohen and says, "Let's get married." It's a big no-no because she's a divorcee. So he says, "Let's do chuppah." Meshuggah, chuppah, before erusin. That moment that they did this funny thing called chuppah, which doesn't do anything, didn't accomplish a thing, she can't eat truma for the rest of her life. She's a chalola. Why? Because she's a step before bia, and it's as if she's nival to somebody that's puzzled to her. People are going to say, Xeris, the whole thing. That's it. She's done. Don't exaggerate. There's nothing going on here. Amar Shmuel, Omoideli Abba. Who's Abba? Rav. Rav, who's older than him, he calls him Rav, Abba. If you have a girl who's not Roi Libia, she's not Roi Libia, less than 3 years old. The whole point is that's Karev Libia, but there is no Bia by a 3-year-old. But you know what there is by a 3-year-old? This Kiddushin. The father could accept Kiddushin on a 2-year-old. I just want to pause there for a second because we have 4 minutes left. If you look in Even Ezer, here, I have it here. I actually... Even Ezer, at the end of Sif Aleph, all the way at the end, it says, Isha pchusa megimel bashalish ein biyasa bia, they call pchusa meshalishanim ein biyasa bia. And then he says, upsuleh chayzrim. Physically speaking, her psulim come back. And then he says here, unbelievable thing, afilu nis abru ashanim b'suleh chayzrim divrei harav ma'Yerushalmi. What's so significant about this? Is that you see in this Shulchan Aruch, the Beis Yosef, if a girl is 1 day before 3 years old, psuleh chayzrim. 1 day after 3 years old, her psulim physically don't come back. If there's an Iber Yar, if there's an extra month, then all of a sudden she gets 30 extra days and her psulim come back physically. Says, yeah, Lakel Gomer Eli, this is the Yerushalmi, this is one of the places you see in Shas, that Chachamim change nature. Based on a Takonis Chacham, based on how they do the calendar, nature changes. It's right in the Shulchan Aruch. Think about it. Yosef, you gave me the eyes, but it's in there.
65 days times 3.
It's not, and that's the whole point. It's 3 years. That's the whole point. It's 3 years of Chachamim's years. I know, that's what you'd say. You would say. That's what you'd say, but the Yerushalmi says not like that. The nature changes based on what Chacham paskin. It's one of the most famous places in here. Okay, fine. If she's 1 day old, then the bia is considered a bia and the kedushin achal. Vimbalel yavam, and as we had, if there's a yibum here, what a story. She's less than 3 years old, she's already married, her husband already died, and now she has a second husband already. Kind of be yibum. Even though she's 3 years old, if somebody else has relations with her, he's over an Umetama is boyala letama mishkav tachtoin ke elyoin. I have a picture here. If this 3-year-old is a nida, and she sits on 10 mattresses, in this case 3, then the bottom mattress is like her. It's unbelievable chiddush. Because usually avatuma makes what? We'll go to that chart. Avatuma makes a rishon. If avatuma touches something else, that something else becomes a rishon, like a kli. A rishon makes a sheni. But in this case, the nida, there's a concept called mishkav u'moishav, something she sits on and lays on like a couch in our house. Everybody's couch is tameh because of this. Becomes the avatuma. So the avatuma could create what? What does avatuma do? A rishon that if it touches a kli, the kli becomes tameh. However, this guy that was with her when she was a nida, he becomes a nida, tumas nida. So first of all, he becomes tameh for 7 days, but his mishkav is slightly different. It goes down 1 madrega. Even though he's like a nida, but the mattress, the bottom mattress, even though, listen, the chiddush here is that they're not even touching. The nida didn't touch it. They were one under the other and they all become tameh. But over here, it goes down 1 madrega to a rishon, and a rishon can do what? Can make food tameh. How you doing, Danny? Avatuma makes a rishon, and rishon makes oichel tameh. Next. Nisas l'kohen echels betruma. If she marries a kohen, she gets to eat truma. Ba'aleh echel mikol hapsulim psala. And if we're just saying the difference between a 3-year-old and under 3 years old, that Rav is going to admit that since he did chuppah to somebody that's not in the parsha of Bia at all, then she doesn't become possible for eating truma. But if she's over 3 years old, ba'aleh echel mikol hapsulim psala, she becomes possible for eating truma. Only because she's 3 years old in 1 day. Therefore, the bia counts, and that's why she becomes possible. But less than 3 years old, says Shmuel, according to Rav, the bia is 0. It doesn't have any effect. What's the whole point? Why is chuppah so bad and detrimental to her truma, and you can't eat truma after you do chuppah with a kohen? Because it's karv lebia, it's about to be bia. But over here, there is no bia with a 3-year-old, less than 3 years old. So Mela, it has 0 effect, even according to Rav. Have a wonderful day.